In the dusty trails of ancient Mesopotamia, a group of enigmatic travelers embarked on a perilous journey, driven by a celestial sign and an unquenchable thirst for wisdom. These mysterious wise men, known as the Magi, were drawn to the humble town of Bethlehem, where a newborn king lay waiting. With gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, they honored the infant Jesus, unaware that their visit would forever change the course of human history. Join me as we delve into the fascinating story of the wise men, unraveling the secrets of their identity, their motivations, and the profound impact of their encounter with the Son of God. No nativity scene is complete without the three wise men presenting their gifts to baby Jesus, a gigantic star hovering over a stable bathing them in light. It's such a beautiful picture, majestic kings kneeling in the hay with the shepherds among the oxen and cattle, all adoring a baby in a manger. The wise men are mentioned in Matthew 2. Matthew goes on to record their search for Jesus. They went to the court of King Herod and asked him where they would find the King of the Jews that had been born. Herod called together the chief priests and teachers of the law, who determined that, according to the Old Testament prophecies, the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. They discovered Jesus in a house, notably not a stable, in Bethlehem according to the prophecies, and brought him gifts. God then warned them in a dream not to let King Herod know where Jesus was, so they returned home without telling Herod, who was secretly plotting to kill Jesus. The Bible never says how many magi there were. There were at least 2, but there is no indication other than that. The idea of 3 wise men probably comes from the fact that they brought 3 gifts. Early church traditions actually suggested that there were 12 wise men, but we have no idea. No one is exactly sure what star the wise men followed, or whether it was even a star in the strictest sense at all. Some have suggested a supernova. Others have suggested a comet. Many theories concern a specific massing of planets, such as Jupiter and Saturn, inside of meaningful constellations, like Pisces. There are many astronomical happenings that could potentially fit the bill due to the meanings planets and constellations had for ancient astrologers. For example, Jupiter and Saturn were planets of rulers, and Pisces was associated with Israel. When these 3 came together in 7 BC, some scholars postulate that this could have been what the Magi saw. There are other such theories involving various other planets and constellations. You can read about some of them here. Others, however, believe that the star was a supernatural manifestation that can't be explained scientifically. The wise men believed that Jesus was the King of the Jews, whose birth had been portended by a powerful sign in the skies. They expressed a desire to worship him. Matthew 2 verse 2. We don't know enough about the wise men to know exactly why they found a king of the Jews so important. Was the sign in the heavens so powerful? Had they heard the importance of the Messiah from Eastern Jews? Many Jews remained in Babylon/Persia after the Babylonian exile of the 6th century BC and did not return to Israel. Since God later appeared to them in a dream, had they learned of him in some other way? In the end, they traveled from afar and brought Jesus gifts because they believed he was a king and worthy of worship. Contrary to traditional nativity scenes and Christmas pageants, the wise men most likely did not arrive to see Jesus in the manger. Most scholars believe Jesus was a year or 2 old by the time the wise men visited. The earliest the wise men could have visited would be a couple of days after Jesus' birth. Since the angelic announcement to the shepherds implies that Jesus was born at night, it's highly unlikely that the wise men obtained an audience with Herod, and then with the chief priests and teachers of the law in the middle of the night. They would also have to travel the 6 miles from Jerusalem to Bethlehem, where they then found Mary and Jesus at a house. However, a year or 2 passing is not unlikely. At the point the wise men reached the house in Bethlehem, the word Luke uses to describe Jesus means young child, implying he may no longer have been a baby. Herod was also aware of the time the star appeared, courtesy of the wise men, and when he tried to have Jesus killed to protect his own power, he had all the baby boys 2 years and younger killed. Jesus escaped only because an angel told Joseph to take the family away to Egypt to hide. Jesus' exact age thus isn't known, but he most likely was not a newborn. The wise men, regardless of where they came from specifically, came from afar. Jesus' birth wasn't just important for the Jews. It was important for all the world. The wise men honored Jesus' kingship and reign long before most realized who he was. The angels appearing to shepherds showed that God cared about the lowly. The Magi from the east gave Jesus the worship as a king that he deserved, showing a glimpse of his majesty. This made King Herod so fearful for his own power that he tried everything to kill Jesus and failed. The wise men were vigilant. When they saw the signs of the coming king, they gathered precious treasures and set out to find him. They sought him earnestly, and when they found him, they worshipped him.